What's up, guys? It's the MMA analyst here to give you my betting picks for UFC on Fuel 2, Gustafsson versus Silva. All right, first things first. I think we're gonna get back on track with this one. I do think that the picks will be able to hold up, and also the odds are really good. It's basically because there's a lot of lesser known guys who are fairly even matched. And but I do think that especially on the undercard, there are a lot of opportunities. Still, it's a bet, anything can happen, but a lot of opportunities with odds of like, minus 200. And, normally a favorite in MMA is, minus 400. But these are some pretty close odds, and I think that you can take advantage of them this event. So anyways, let's get right down to it. First fight, Alexander Gustafsson versus Thiago Silva. It's going to be a gold pick for Gustafsson. It could be a platinum pick for Gustafsson, but I'm kind of be careful with this one. I think the odds of minus 230, I really like those odds. I think he's like 6'5" or whatever. So I mean, with that reach advantage, with him being more active, I think he'll be able to potentially avoid any of Thiago Silva's, trying to maybe repeat what he did with Brandon Vera. And I think he's going to be able to outstrike him. Obviously, Thiago Silva has the advantage with just a one-shot power strike. Gustafsson has been in trouble before, where he's got hit and, was in trouble, but he was able to get out of trouble. Forget who that was against, but I remember. It was rough. Anyways, end of the day, though, I think Gustafsson will be able to use his height and his reach to pull out a victory, a win. I actually have Gustafsson at some point, tagging Silva, getting it to the ground and submitting him. It's probably more likely that if he gets to the ground against the black belt and Silva, he'll just keep striking and TKO him. But, for some reason, I do have a feeling about a submission for Gustafsson. Any way you look at it, it's a win for Gustafsson for me. Again, gold pick, strong gold, but a gold pick. Sakara versus Brian Stann. For me, Brian Stann's probably going to win this fight. And if I had to put money on it, I'd bet Brian Stann. He's got a better chin. He's powerful. This fight is going to stay on the feet. But, end of the day, it's a striker versus striker. Brian Stann does like to brawl. He will win the fight. So, I'm going to still make it a gold pick for Brian Stann. But I'm not confident in the odds of minus 425. I'll be staying away from this fight. There's no way on earth I'm going to bet on this fight. Especially with the possibility of Sakara actually catching Brian Stann. Sakara does have good hands himself. He's got solid power. But, and he will have the advantage in technique, having the better technique. But he's got he's been knocked out a bunch of times. I think he's got a rough chin, and Brian Stann will be able to exploit a lot of the faults in Sakara's striking. For example, when he puts his head down when he comes in striking. But I think Brian Stann's gonna win. I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna pick a gold pick. The odds, not too friendly though. Minus 425. That's gross. Dennis Siver versus Diego Nunes. Minus 155 for Diego Nunes. That's very good. I am going to go with Diego Nunes. And I do think it will be a pretty close fight. I think it will go to the decision. This fight probably stays on the feet. Dennis Siver is solid with his striking. Diego Nunes, I think, though, will be able to be faster. More aggressive. Siver kind of likes to plod forward. He's solid with the striking, but I do think Diego Nunes will be faster and more aggressive. I think basically the situation with this fight, the biggest thing for me is Dennis Siver dropping down to featherweight. He looks like a pretty stocky 155 as it is, so we'll see how he does at 145. And also, he is, to me, he's kind of a very predictable striker. He moves forward. He has his leg kicks. He has his spinning back kicks. He's got some power, But Diego Nunes, I think he'll be able to mix it up and come away with the victory. I say probably win 2 out of 3 rounds. Paulo Thiago versus Siyar Bahadurzada. Paulo Thiago. He's going to get the fight to the ground eventually. This is a silver pick for Paulo Thiago. If Siyar actually does hit Paulo Thiago, he could knock him out, clearly. But I think Paulo Thiago gets the fight to the ground. He tires out Siyar Bahadurzada, and he might not even need to tire him out. I think he can maybe just get that submission almost, right away. So Paulo Thiago's solid on the ground, especially in top control, and I think that he will come away with the victory in this fight. Again, platinum pick. And probably looking at potentially a submission of the night, by the way. With Thiago on the main card, he'll probably have something good in the arsenal for Siyar. I think on the ground, he'll be able to have his way with them. So, if he wanted to try and pull off something great, not that he would go for something extra, but I think that it's kind of his for the taking. James Head versus Papy Abedi. Pretty good odds here. Papy Abedi minus 245. I think he's all around, should be able to beat James Head. As long as he, doesn't go out there with his hands down, like he did against, obviously, a much better fighter all around, Thiago Alves, I think he should be fine. It's going to be a gold pick for Papy Abedi. I think that, he can win this fight any way he wants. Just for the record, Papy Abedi versus James Head, I don't think it goes the distance. Paulo Thiago versus Siyar Bahadurzada, again, does not go the distance. Siver versus Nunes does go the distance. Sakara versus Stann doesn't go the distance. These are just in case you're looking at other odds. And Silva versus Gustafsson, that one's up in the air. All right, next fight. Eric Wisely versus Jason Young. It's a do not bet. In my regular picks, I did pick Eric Wisely. I do think he'll win, but putting money on him, probably not the best of ideas. Plus 165, that's some pretty decent odds. If you do want to put money on somebody, if you want to have a nice underdog that could probably come away with the win, I say Eric Wisely is probably the best bet. I think, he'll be able to get the fight to the ground if he wants, potentially submit Jason Young. But with Jason Young back to the wall, 2 fights in a row he's lost, I think he's really going to be, it's not like a situation where he's outmatched by Wisely, so it doesn't matter the situation. He's going to, trying hard is not going to work. No, I think trying hard in this situation will be something that Jason Young will be doing even more than in the past. So I think he's even more dangerous than normal. Do not bet. Next fight, Reza Madadi versus Izquierdo. Damn, that's tough. First name, Yoislandy? Okay. Anyways, I got Madadi winning this fight. It would be probably a platinum or even a gold pick. Or even a diamond pick if I just had a little bit more on both guys. From what I've seen, Madadi's going to be able to get this fight to the ground, and he's going to be able to submit Izquierdo. Solid wrestling from Iran, wrestling background. Good jiu-jitsu, and I think this fight just gets taken to the ground and he wins. The main issue is if Izquierdo, if he can get a knockout. That's what it is, right? This is a grappler versus striker all day, and I'm going to go with the grappler here. I think he has he definitely has the experience advantage, and I think that in this fight he will be able to get the submission, and probably rather quickly. I don't see this fight going to the distance either. If Madadi does lose, then he's going to get knocked out, and if he wins, he's probably going to get the submission. Brad Pickett versus Damacio Page. Great odds for Brad Pickett. This is going to be I want to say platinum pick. I'm going to go with platinum. I think it's a very, very strong gold, soft platinum, but I'm going to go with a platinum pick for Brad Pickett. I think all he has to do is worry about maybe a blitz early from Damacio Page. But I think Brad Pickett, striking-wise, he's on point. His wrestling's on point. His grappling's on point. I think he's a very well-rounded fighter. Ran into some trouble against Renan Barão. I think he's going to rebound well in this fight. And I think he will get the win. Potentially a submission. He can win anywhere. I'm going to go with Brad Pickett by a win. I don't think this is going to go the distance. I'd be very surprised if it went the distance. I say a submission win for Brad Pickett. Simeon Thoresen versus Bassam Youssef. This is a platinum pick. Simeon Thoresen, very solid grappler. I think he'll be able to get the fight to the ground. I think he's one of the best in Norway. Solid training partners, tons of submissions, and just looks like he's very solid from what I've seen on YouTube. But Bassam Youssef, he's gonna have a lot on his plate here. Trying to avoid the submissions all day. He has 3 submissions in his own record. Out of his 6 wins, he is undefeated. Only 1 fight has gone the distance. But I think that it's going to be a grappler versus a much better grappler. I don't know if I want to say Youssef is a grappler, but Thoresen definitely is a grappler and very solid at that. And I do think that he will get the submission here. And, not going to go the distance. Platinum pick. All right, next fight. Francis Carmont versus Magnus Cedenblad. I'm going to go with Carmont here, a gold pick. I think it's going to be a situation where Carmont, who, last fight he was really doing his Anderson Silva impression. I think he needs to chill out with that and just keep his hands up and do what he needs to do to get the win. But I do think he's the better striker than Cedenblad. This probably goes to the decision. Also potential for fight of the night. As long as Carmont doesn't get lackadaisical out there and start to cruise, as I believe he did in his last fight when, like I said, when he was doing his Anderson Silva impersonation. I think, again, a gold pick for Carmont. He just has to avoid getting tagged and finished by Cedenblad. I think he will be able to do that. DaMarques Johnson, John Maguire. Gold pick for John Maguire. I think he's going to get the fight to the ground. DaMarques Johnson against a wrestler normally means DaMarques Johnson's going to lose. I think Maguire, who's definitely going to get the fight to the ground, he's going to fight for the takedowns, get the takedowns, control on top, tire Johnson out, and finish him off. Only reason it's not a higher pick is because, just don't feel really confident in giving anything any higher rating for a pick for John Maguire at this point in his career. I've seen a lot, and based on that, he could definitely find a way to lose this fight. And lastly, Cyrille Diabate versus Tom DeBlass. But I picked this fight here as well as the other ones on the undercard without knowing what the odds were. I did have Tom DeBlass winning. He is a newcomer to the UFC. He's been fighting for a while. Big time grappler. Cyrille Diabate, lots of experience. I do think DeBlass is going to win. It has him here as a minus 217 favorite, which I was kind of surprised. I thought he might even be an underdog when I made the pick based on just experience of Cyrille Diabate alone. I am still going to go with Tom DeBlass, obviously, but it's going to be a silver pick, as I do think he has a lot of problems in front of him. Diabate's got good reach, good striking. Obviously, DeBlass wants to get the fight to the ground. He goes for lots of crazy stuff, and Achilles locks, heel hooks, all types of stuff. So I'm still going to go with DeBlass. It is going to be a silver pick, and hopefully he can get the win. I think he could be an exciting fighter in the UFC. His biggest problem is, in order to get the fight to the ground, he does like throwing lots of punches and strikes, which normally is not a problem. That would be a good thing, except for he kind of throws them from the side instead of up front. So he'll throw a lot of shots, and he likes throwing body shots too. And against somebody like Cyrille Diabate, you can get caught for sure. So that's the issue there. All right, so there you go. Those are my picks for UFC on Fuel 2. And good luck. Bet responsibly. MMA, it's important. Peace.